right. Good morning, guys. Shabbat Shalom. All right. Everybody standing up. On the count of three, let's say Baruch Yahweh. Let's bless Yahweh. So, 1, 2, 3. Baruch Yahweh. What a great day. If everybody would just turn to one another and tell them you look like a modern day version of Abraham. Hopefully in a few moments you'll understand what that means if you don't already, and if you don't, ask somebody. All right, so what a blessing to be able to come and talk about the Haftarah and a little bit of the portion. Just an awesome thing. This portion to me really just kind of takes me back to the beginning of my walk with Yahweh, as we'll get into here in a little bit. But this portion from the Torah is Genesis 12:1 through 17:27, and the Haftarah is Isaiah 40:27 through 41:16. And it starts out with the Lord asking a question. And I believe it's a question that we can all ask ourselves. The Lord asks us as well. Why do you say, O Jacob, and assert, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, and the justice due me escapes the notice of the Lord? To me, that is something that really I experienced this week, and I went right into it. I saw a little clip of a video of just some evil stuff happening to everyday people, and it did make my heart cry out to God. Why are you allowing this to happen? Why is you not coming down on these guys? Kind of that sick 'em God attitude. I think we can all fall into that pretty easily. But I think Abraham himself also probably had these same questions as these trials came up in his life. I mean, gosh, can you imagine just the things he went through trying to convince his family, God told me to leave, man, we got to get out of here. Well, where are we going? Well, he's going to show me along the way. I mean, there's a lot of us that have experienced that in our lives. That's right. And so I know that I go through it. I imagine we all go through it. And in this time that we're in, it's probably especially heavy on a lot of us. But as we go on through the Haftarah, we start to see some really good encouragement from Yahweh. And I'll read to you verse 31, Isaiah 40:31. Yet those who wait on the Lord will gain new strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not get tired. They will walk and not get weary. I know we've all heard that time and time again. But what caught my eye in this verse this time was that word wait. And as I looked it up, it's in the Strong's, it's H6960. And the word is kavah. And it also means to bind to. Yet those who bind to the Lord. And so I started to ask the Lord, how do we wait? How do we bind to you? And one of the ways that he showed me is the Torah portions. We really start to study them, to do them every week, and we wait on the revelation that he brings, because that gives us new strength, and it really helps us with our walk. And so that really stood out to me there. Also, another way that we wait on the Lord is the feast days. We wait for those to come around every year. And as you all know, those of you who've been doing the feast days for a long time, those of you who are just coming into the feast days, the revelation you get as you go through these is just amazing. And it really strengthens you. It really brings that all right, now I can get to walk in here, just like Abraham. Once he got the revelation, he got to stepping. And that's just what we do. That revelation can be hard sometimes, though. Through Sukkot, man, I struggled right up until the last day. There was a big wrestling match. But as he brought the revelation, it strengthened me in a problem that I perceived wasn't mine, but it was mine. So just that waiting on the Lord, that's sometimes hard to do. But It's absolutely worth doing, for sure. So as we move on into chapter 41, we see that they start to touch on the Torah portion. And I'll read you verse 2 and 3. Who has aroused one from the east, whom he calls in righteousness to his feet? He delivers up nations before him and subdues kings. He makes them like dust with his sword and wind-driven chaff with his bow. He pursues them, passing on in safety, by a way he had not been traveling with his feet. And so if you've read the portion from Genesis, you'll know that God called Abraham from his land. He gets to moving. Eventually him and Lot separate, and then there comes the First World War, as Curtis put it, the Battle of the Kings. And so Lot is taken captive, but through righteousness and with God, Abraham goes and rescues him. So we see that it's God who causes him to do it. And much like everybody who's here, God has called us out of a way that was not known to our feet. He's called us into His ways. And that's just an awesome thing. And there's a lot of times those battles that we have to fight as we start to look at, new dietary laws, putting aside old traditions for the feast days. Once we take that to God and we start to believe in God, then we see that we get to take on His ways. He credits us with righteousness, and that's walking in the Torah. I like to think about, the word of the Lord came to Abraham, the word of the Lord came to all the prophets, and the word of the Lord comes to us. So as we put our faith in Yeshua Jesus, God credits us with the faith of Yeshua Jesus, which is His walk, His Torah righteousness. And so that's just a great thing, and this whole portion really spoke to me and just makes me think back of the things that I went through to leave what I knew and to walk in the new Yeshua in me. All right. And, the same thing, and we see it in Genesis 26:5. Because Abraham obeyed me, kept my charge, kept my commandments, my statutes, and my Torah, he was credited with righteousness. That is walking in God's ways. But through it all, in 41:14, it's just God just always comes through. Do not fear, you worm Jacob, you men of Israel. I will help you, declares the Lord, and your Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel. And how true is that? I mean, we see Him time and time again, that He just comes to our rescue, our salvation. And so with that, I'd like to close and kind of bring to mind an old tool that has been given to us by our leadership. And that is the Torah portion itself. It's great to read the Bible and read all through one chapter, or try to read it all in a year, but these portions have been passed down through the ages for a reason. It's because they speak to us, they're a lamp to our feet, they tell us what's going on in this present day as well as what's to come, so that we're not caught off guard. And it's just a great thing. And Pastor Curtis has put together Taylor's Torah Tidbits. It's very awesome. If you're new to Torah and to walking in this way, it'll really help change your thought pattern on how you see Scripture. And Pastor Curtis is available day and night. If you read this and you have questions about it, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. God says keep knocking and Curtis will answer. So that's where it's at. But thank you guys for hearing me, and thank Pastor Curtis and Pastor Wendy and Pastor Matt for the opportunity to get up here and speak. So thank you guys.